everyone, welcome back to Splat World Series Rewound. My name is Carnie. I'm joined here by Pinky. We have a losers round 3 coming at you. What is going to be going on here, Pinky?
Yeah, to give you the lowdown on this set here, we have Utopia versus Final Weapon in losers round 3, losers side of top 8. Winner moves on to losers bracket, losers out at 7th, and at this point of the tournament here, it's just 8 Japanese teams just absolutely dominating the entire tournament, and the Western scene, unfortunately, not able to crack any top 8 spots, and that's just a testament to how strong the Japanese Splatoon scene is, and, you know, now we're just going to be seeing a lot of matches of Japan against Japan for the rest of this tournament. I love to see it because these are some of the best to ever do it.
Absolutely, and we're going to be seeing 2 of these teams here duke it out on Sturgeon Shipyard here for our first match of the set. A map that you really don't see around often anymore, but is kind of a welcome breath of fresh air from the current meta. Now let's take a look at what these weapon choices have to offer for us, and I am seeing a paintbrush.
Yeah, I'm seeing a paintbrush and a dabble dually on the side of Final Weapon. Utopia has a more standard comp. You know, we have that decapitator and that pen. Those 2 weapons are going to be so strong in this matchup as Final Weapon pulling out a very short-range comp. And that, I mean, again, Rubyton on that pen, going to have so many great sidelines on Sturgeon.
Absolutely, and from here we can see that Kiami is just doing a really good job of cleaning up that left side of the zone here as Utopia, we see here, getting a really nice, Rubyton getting a really nice pick, just able to really patrol that zone well with the painting power of the pen. It's going to be very helpful, especially on such a long zone that this is.
Yeah, we saw Niru find a nice pick there with that shot, and Art patrolling this left side with that Saber. Going to swap out with Kiami there on that bucket, but now Art on this decapitator, actually, my bad, going to just be swimming back and forth, and Utopia still holding on to the middle of this map, so incredibly strong for almost a full minute, and we're going to be seeing the trade popping out as well. Kiami now rolling it behind Art to try and extend this advantage, but forced to jump out a little bit. Final Weapon still struggling to find a way back in, but these tri-strikes here from Tsukiyomi should be enough to get this cap, and there we go. Utopia forced back a little bit, but they're still fighting.
Absolutely, and with that, I believe we can see here that the tri-strikes are going to be coming out to help cap that zone. In return, Utopia taking control of it. Kiami there on that slosher, just trying, again, doing a really good job of cleaning up the sides that Final Weapon is on. Now, Utopia does end up going 2 down in the moment now, but we can see that Niru has the Trizuka, gets a really nice pick on that paintbrush, and they still have control of the zone, which is surprising considering they were down quite a couple of players.
Yeah, I mean, I'm noticing these Japanese teams are so incredibly good at maintaining control even when they're down, and now Final Weapon struggling to make their way back in mid. Here comes Art on the stamper to find a trade, and the teammates are going to swim in. Niru finds a nice double, and that's a full wipeout of Final Weapon here with just a few more ticks of the zone timer. Rubyton perfectly set up to find some more picks. There's one on Azu as well, and Final Weapon scrambling to get back in the middle of this map, and Utopia not going to let it go here. Utopia, a very dominant knockout showing in Game 1.
Absolutely, and Rubyton on that pencil just, wow, you really don't often see a pencil who can fight as well as they did, but again, we are in like the top 8 of the Splat World Series. These guys are the best of the best.
Yeah, the best in the world, honestly. I mean, at this point, these teams are so incredibly strong. Utopia showing why they've earned their spot in this tournament. Final Weapon just really was not able to make anything happen on this map, but they do have the counter pick advantage now to pick a map that's more favorable for the, you know, their more short range, aggressive sort of playstyle, because Utopia just had them completely locked down with that massive range advantage in this Game 1.
Absolutely. Just like you couldn't have said it honestly better than I could have said it, because just wow. We are waiting now for Final Weapon's counter pick for the rest of this set. It's going to be interesting to see if they end up picking something that just throws Utopia completely off guard. But since Utopia is running a pretty meta set, oh my god, that's humpback pump track zones.
Yeah, you know, I said that Final Weapon needs a short-range map, and Humpback Zones is definitely a great short-range map. That Dapple Dually and that Paintbrush, so strong in this map. Of course, Bucket, we all know how annoying sloshers are on this kind of map, so this is definitely a good pick for Final Weapon to show off the strength of their weapons, and now Utopia kind of has to, you know, pivot to what they're going to do, but Pen is still a really good weapon here, so they can still stick with the same stuff. Let's see what we're seeing in game number 2. We're seeing the Ink Brush and the Dreadrigger coming out from Tsukiyomi on Final Weapon. Utopia sticking with the same stuff.
Absolutely. Now, the Dreadringer is going to be a pretty decent pick for this map, especially because I feel like it is made for buckets, blasters, and rollers at this point. We can see that long range here, the double long range, in fact, just painting over the zone one after another is kind of comical. Final Weapon does end up going 2 down, but not before Utopia ends up going 2 down. In the stead, we have Soda's up from that pen as it is a bloodbath in mid.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a complete battle for this control here, but it's going to go in favor of Final Weapon right now. Utopia first to jump, or kind of forced to jump out here. Kiyomi going to be patrolling this area with the bucket, but not really able to drop. We have 2 specials at the ready, but it's not the time for Utopia to pop them. And the Dreadringer finds the pick over the wall here, and Ramia patrolling this drop area with that Ink Brush as well. Kiyomi patrolling this area, holding onto that slider, ready to pop it at a moment's notice, but gets taken down before they can use it. And Final Weapon, they've been holding onto the zone, but Utopia still definitely fighting back.
Yeah, what an unfortunate loss of that reslider. We see Utopia's weapons and specials are going to be coming out at every single moment. The Slosher looking like it's going to try and cover the zone with as much pain as possible. Getting a welcome help from that bubble. That reslider was not able to do much against it, as Utopia does have a little bit of an advantage state as Final Weapon does end up going 2 down.
Yeah, Utopia is starting to get back in control here, and again, they're 1 game away from winning this set, so this is huge for Utopia. Final Weapon on the back foot right now. They're starting to get staggered here. Azu goes down to that pen player. Kiyomi finds one with the Dreadringer, has the slider ready though. This could be huge for them. Not able to find any picks and gets taken down by the Decapitator Art. Such good presence of mind to hide behind that cover, and now setting up this bubble here for Utopia to continue their advantage state. They're going to get the zone back into swing of things, and Final Weapon really needs to, regroup and find a way back into mid.
Absolutely, and with that, the regrouping is happening now. That pen ends up getting a really nice pick on Art Natsu here. Just incredible pen showings from both sides, but because Final Weapon is in the lead now, they do have a little bit of, they've got a little bit of luxury. They can wait and regroup and go back in as much as they want to, because the lead differential is so high. I have a feeling we are going to be going the full length of this Splat Zones map. 2 down on Final Weapon now means that Utopia, with sodas aplenty, is going to be taking control of mid.
Yeah, Utopia just have that numbers advantage now. But here goes Ramia just kind of sharking right here, trying to find the pick on the bucket, not able to get it in time. And now that location has been exposed here, Utopia trying to collapse in on them, able to find that pick, but the slider from Kiyomi, so strong on this map, able to get a trade afterwards as well to sort of reset this penalty on the side of Utopia. Final Weapon staying alive in this game, but just by the skin of their teeth right now, as Utopia tries to hold on for another good advantage state here. Kiyomi patrolling this area. We're seeing the Buyuan being popped to displace Rubiton. Rubiton in an awkward spot, forced to jump out, and 2 down on Utopia. It means Final Weapon finally has decisive control of mid once again.
Absolutely, and the sodas are coming out for Final Weapon, which means that their advantage state is even more heightened than it was. We see that Blaster now is just trying to look for a picks, getting that really good AoE, and gets a really nice burst bomb kill, which you really don't see often on stream, which is incredible for us to even see such a thing. And again, Azu on that S-Blaster really doing a good job of keeping Utopia back.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing Final Weapon trying to keep Utopia back as a whole. Art gets cut out by the S-Blast. Azu's so strong with this Blast Weapon. Finds another direct pick on Kiyomi here. This is so close to flipping for Utopia. Final Weapon barely holds on. They're going to get the cap somehow. Niru tries to paint the zone with this shot. Finally going to get the cap here for Utopia. Final Weapon was so close to knocking up, but Utopia barely holds on. And we just have 1 minute left of the second game of this match. Utopia has to work so hard to catch back up.
Absolutely, the lead differential is too high for them right now unless they can get a wipeout, and Final Weapon secures the zone in the last 40 seconds of the match here. They just gotta hold on to it for as long as they possibly can to prevent a sneaky overtime win from Utopia. The specials are being thrown left and right. Utopia does end up going 2 down in the moment now, as Final Weapon just has a really strong hold of the zone. They unfortunately get it flipped back over to Utopia's side as both of these teams rush forward into mid. We are looking at the last 10 seconds of this match coming up as soon as possible.
Yeah, and Kiyomi holding on to that slider until the last possible moment, because they know, but they can take it down before they can pop it. That does mean that, that slider could end this overtime at a moment's notice, but Utopia enters the overtime with complete control of this map. That's a delayed wipe on Final Weapon. Tukiyomi trying to build up for another slider here on this right side of the map. They know that they can get the cap on the zone with that alone right now. It's just so hard to set it up. Tukiyomi is in position though. The suction bomb and the slider being popped out. That's not enough for the cap on its own though, but Tukiyomi still fighting. 2 down on either side, and the paint battle barely goes in favor of Final Weapon at the end.
That Ink Brush did a really good job at the end there of covering the zone in paint. Just a Final Weapon narrowly avoiding an upset here as they take a game 2, forcing a game 3 on Utopia. I'm really interested to see if we're going to be seeing another long-range pick for Utopia, because Final Weapon picking that short-range heavy map just really, I feel, sealed the deal on their win.
Yeah, I mean, Tukiyomi is such a strong player in this map. Generator is such a strong weapon on this map here. And, I mean, they were able to show it at the very end. Not quite able to get the full cap on the zone with that slider and bomb combo. But even still, just really clearing the way. And just a final desperate paint battle goes in favor of Final Weapon. Again, thanks to that Ink Brush getting that clutch at the end. And, you know, Utopia was really starting to mount a comeback there. If that last push from Final Weapon didn't work, I think they would have lost that game. But Utopia not quite able to get it done. Final Weapon wins that second game and forces Utopia's counterpick for game 3. And here we're going to see it's going to be Undertow Spillway to wrap up the set.
An interesting dual zones map, and probably the long-range pick that Utopia needs now in order to get Final Weapon out of the bracket entirely. But Final Weapon, I feel, has a really good shot at this because of the weapons that they are currently running. It's honestly, again, anyone's game here. We can see we have switched a little bit. Tukiyomi is going from that Dreadringer to the Splatana Stamper, which I feel like is going to be a really good pick, especially because that Zipcaster can get into those places where Rubiton is going to try and hide.
Yeah, it's a pretty radical shift, but we're going to see Miramiya taking on this Ink Brush Nuvo. Even in spite of its a bit awkward, interaction with the terrain, but Final Weapon onto a strong start, getting delayed wipe essentially on Utopia. Azu doing such a good job patrolling this area with this S-Blast here, and now just Final Weapon has complete control of the enemy core right now. We're seeing a player on Utopia going for that long flank. Miramiya is going to get caught out, being a little too aggressive, but Art sets up this bubble fully behind enemy lines, able to paint one of the zones, but that's the thing about this map. You need to control both zones, and Utopia not able to do it right now. Final Weapon is going to call out that flank and return to their control of this map.
Absolutely, and they have a whole lot of control of this map. We've got specials in the pockets of the members of Final Weapon, and we can see, I believe, that Zipcaster is out and about somewhere. I'm pretty sure I saw it get popped, but with that, everything is happening all at once in mid. Final Weapon is still really decisively in control of both of those zones. Utopia has not been able to get a single cap this entire game, and now we are going down to the low 20s. Utopia needs to act now if they want to get this under control.
It's now or never. Oh my god, they stacked the penalty. They still have not scored a point, but they at least stacked that 65-point penalty. But still no score here from Utopia in their own counter pick here. Final Weapon, such a strong control of this match right now. Still holding on to the zone. Rubiton, though, drops down to find a pick onto Miramiya. That's 4 against 2. That should be controlled. There we go. Utopia finally in control of this match right now, but Final Weapon did so much damage to that scoreboard, and they're still alive, still fighting. It's 2 alive on the other side. Everyone is jumping to Niru in the middle of this map, though. Utopia somehow able to make it keep working as Final Weapon forced to back up decisively now.
Absolutely, and we see Kiami here going to be throwing those triple strikes into zone, as we can see now. Everyone is trying to be in the advantage state here, but neither of these teams are in the advantage until Utopia goes 3 down in the moment. Final Weapon is going to be taking this advantage state under their belt and using it to cap the zones and push forward. Now, if you play Undertow Spillway, you know that this can be a very lockout heavy map. If you know what you're doing, and Natsu is on the perfect position here to try and get Utopia out of here, but Rubiton helping 2 down go on Final Weapon as Utopia takes the zones back under their control. It is, again, still anyone's game, but Final Weapon is in the clear lead.
Yeah, I'm seeing another run back of this game too here. Final Weapon, such a strong lead with 2 minutes to go here. Utopia is fighting back the best they can, though they should be done with that penalty any moment now. 2 up on Final Weapon is going to be hard for them to push back into the middle of this map, and Utopia now has the time to let the zone timer tick all the way down as much as possible, but they go 2 down here. Rubyton being pressured as well by Tukiyomi on the Stamper. It's just going to be Rubyton alive, and Tukiyomi going to get this cap as Rubyton is forced to jump out here. Final Weapon with a minute 40 to go, back in control of this map. They're holding on to so many specials if you look at the top of the screen, and this could be a decisive hold for them if they play their cards right.
Absolutely, we can see now we have the Zipcaster out. The Zipcaster unfortunately does end up getting canceled in the middle of Utopia's spawn, but Final Weapon, again, is still trying their best to keep a hold of the zone. Every single time a zone flips yellow, the blue follows up right afterwards here, and it is just an absolute bloodbath in mid now. We are fighting for dominance. That Booyah Bomb is going to be going out, and with that, Tukiyomi is going to be moving forward, trying to get a pick, does not end up getting the pick, but because they chased that member of Utopia all the way up towards that higher ground area, Final Weapon was able to cap the zone in their favor, and now Utopia is 3 down on the back foot yet again.
Rubyton is so good at staying alive, but not going to be enough to anchor the team at this moment here. 40 seconds left in this game here, and Final Weapon so close to this knockout here, but Utopia fighting back even in spite of the numbers disadvantage here, but they don't have the cap on both zones. They only have one zone to their name, and we're seeing Nito trying to find the picks with the Zuka, trying to get this paint on the other zone with the help of the teammates. 3 down on Final Weapon is going to spell the end of their cap here as Utopia once again holding as we're nearing the overtime sound here, but with 20 seconds to go, anything can happen, and of course we still have overtime thereafter.
And Kiami is in a really advantageous spot there because they can just slosh over all of the ledges and be a really big menace here. They do end up being pushed away by the members of Final Weapon. We see the stamp. Miramiya just getting a really good wipe here as Final Weapon gets control of the zone in the last second and sweeps Utopia.
Wow, I mean, Utopia just went completely down on places of the map. Just, I don't even know where they went down. It was just so many fights happening in all areas of the map, but Final Weapon was able to hold on. It was going to be that last hammer from Muramiya to get the last pick to ensure the final hold of the zone, as Final Weapon is able to make this comeback against Utopia. But man, Utopia made them work for it.
Absolutely, but it was a well-deserved win because they worked for it. Final Weapon was really just, they waited, they bided their time, and then at the very last second, just boom, stamp, there's the wipeout. Now we get control of the zone, preventing an overtime win.
Yeah, congrats to Final Weapon to getting this win over Utopia 2-1. Utopia knocked out at 7th place as Final Weapon going to continue on in the Splat World Series bracket. And again, huge props to them. They deserved that win, and they worked so hard for it, but Utopia played so incredibly well in this set. And of course, that first game, what a dominant showing.
Absolutely, and with that, I believe our time is up for this set, so we thank you so much for joining us. We will see you guys next time.